All right. So, most people, when they hear Civil War, they jump straight to the moral question. Slavery. Race. And look, those things are absolutely central to what happened. But if you want to understand why that war came when it did, why it was so brutal, why men were willing to die for it, you've got to follow the money. Because what we're really talking about is one of the most powerful economic machines the 19th century ever produced. Historians call it the Cotton Kingdom. And I don't use the word kingdom lightly. Picture this. It's the 1850s. The Industrial Revolution is remaking the entire planet. Manchester, Liverpool, the great textile mills of northern England. These factories are running around the clock, producing cloth at a scale the world had never seen before. But every single one of those machines needed one thing to keep going: raw cotton. And here's where it gets interesting. The American South had what amounted to a global monopoly. We're talking roughly 75% of the world's cotton coming out of those southern states. Now, I ask my students to think about it this way. What does oil mean to the global economy today? That is exactly what cotton meant in 1850. More than half of everything the United States exported was cotton. They literally called it white gold. Southern senators would stand up on the floor of Congress, proud, chest out, and declare, "Cotton is king." And they weren't being poetic. They genuinely believed the factories of the North and the governments of Europe were dependent on them. That if Southern cotton stopped flowing for even a week, the whole system seizes up. Now, here's where the story gets darker. The only reason, those plantation owners could generate that kind of wealth was that nearly 4 million enslaved Black Americans were forced to work those fields. No wages, no choice. Under the constant threat of violence. That's not a footnote to the economic story. That is the economic story. Free labor on an industrial scale is what made those profit margins possible. And this is crucial to understand. For the Southern planter class, slavery wasn't some cultural quirk they were sentimental about. It was the engine. It was the foundation underneath everything: the land values, the credit markets, the whole social order. So when Northern politicians started pushing back, started talking about limiting the expansion of slavery, Southern leaders didn't just hear a moral challenge. They heard an existential economic threat. Which raises a question I want you to sit with. Exactly how much was an enslaved person valued at in the antebellum economy? What did those slave markets actually look like? And what does it tell us about just how far the Southern elite was willing to go to protect this system? That's where we're headed next.